Tatis, he's going to lead Sports Center. He's done it again. Another home run.
Welcome back to Chasing 2. I'm Blake Friars alongside Dylan Smith. Episode number 30. Dylan, we got to start with the spider tactic. You know, there was a steroid era, Spidey-Gate, and now we got pitchers using spider tack. If you don't know what spider tack is, you might be living under a rock. It's a illegal foreign substance that allows pitchers to create more spin on the ball. And I did some research, Dylan, and this was developed in North Dakota in a lab down in Grand Forks by a strongman. You know those strongmans that lift those Atlas balls and, those competitions. So what they did, they created a clear substance. This guy, his name is James Diefenbaugh, and his co-business partner is Mike Caruso. They are two strongmen, and they created this clear spider tack, and it allowed him to hold the ball clearly, like more strong. It stuck to the ball. And the last couple of years here, this guy did an interview. He recognized that the last 2 years, recognizable MLB pitchers have been ordering this spider tack, and this just isn't good for the game. What's your take on all this stuff?
I mean, you'll see if you go back and you look at maybe from like 2015 and now, spin rate just got, I guess, I don't want to say popular, but people started to pay attention to the analytics a little bit more. Yeah. That's when we started getting the spin rate and the gyro of the ball, horizontal, vertical, all that stuff. So, basically pitchers are messing with some substances, whether it be rosin and sunscreen or rosin and hand sanitizer. There's different things, bullfrog. Yeah. I've been around the game. Those things are mainly used for grip.
Right.
The thing with spider tack is this is being used to up their spin rate by like 400 RPMs. A general boost in spin rate is only going to be about
20 maybe. Yeah,
20 to like 40 RPMs over maybe an off season. Okay, and so if you want to do some research and you think there's some guys, maybe that their careers boosted or they became big players, go back and look at their spin rates. If you see a 400 RPM jump, 300, even 200, that's suspect. Okay. Right. And there's a lot of guys. It's not just the Garrett Cole and the Bauer of the world. And, Bauer is one that told everybody, hey, we need to police this.
Yeah.
And basically what he did was they didn't police it. And he said, okay, I'm going to use it. And what'd he do? His spin rate jumped, and he won a Cy Young. And now he's got a $45 million tag on him a year. And he got himself the bag. This got him the bag at the end of the day. Like, he got paid. And now that's one of the most interesting contracts, even though it's only a 3-year deal. What Bauer are we going to get now? The Dodgers paid for spider tack Bauer.
Yeah. I don't know. Like,
and he's a great talent. Don't get me wrong. Like, he
100%
still gonna spot. The home run ball's been him in the ass all year.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I don't think that he's gonna have this like big fall off where he has like a 6 ERA. But are we going to get that 2.2 ERA Bauer? I think we're going to have more of like the 3.8 guy, maybe 4.
Yeah, Garrett Cole had some very interesting comments when he got asked a question by a reporter. We're going to play the clip for the listeners here.
And have you ever used spider tack while pitching?
I don't know. I don't know if don't quite know how to answer that, to be honest. I mean, there are customs and practices that have been passed down from older players to younger players, from the last generation of players to this generation of players. And, I think there are some things that are certainly out of bounds in that regard. And I've stood pretty firm in terms of that, in terms of the communication between our peers and whatnot. And I, again, like I mentioned earlier, there's, this is important to a lot of people that love the game, and this is including the players in this room, including fans, including, teams. And so if MLB wants to, legislate some more stuff, that's a conversation that we can have, because ultimately we should all be pulling in the same direction on this.
Dylan, you get asked a yes or no question. Did you use Spider Tack? And, Garrett Cole, you just heard it there. I don't know how to answer that question. Like,
yeah,
that's a pretty guilty Garrett Cole answer right there.
Well, yeah, and it's pretty obvious. You just go look at his numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's another big contract. The Yankees, 8 years?
Yeah.
They paid for Spider Tack Cole, and they got him for 1 year. And they didn't win the championship, so we'll see what Garrett Cole does from here on out. But yeah, I mean, even going back to his Houston days, you see how much his stuff started to jump going to Houston.
You saw his RPMs in Pittsburgh. I want to say it was like 2,100, and then it jumped up. Like now, I think his spin rate was like pushing 2,500. So you jump 400 RPMs in what, like
4 years?
4 years, like that's crazy. So you, at your job at PFA, what's that program called? The where it tells you like the spin rate and all that stuff.
Oh, like TrackMan?
Yeah, TrackMan. It's like, okay. So, the last few years you've been like working like with stuff like that. So like,
yeah.
Is it noticeable? Like, is every pitcher different? Obviously.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, every pitcher is different, but I will tell you, not at PFA, but in other places, we've experimented with some things.
Really? Yeah.
Putting different things on your hand, basically, and what's the jump going to be?
Right.
So I've been around the game for a while here. And, I've been in places, obviously, I'm not going to say where not those happen because I got to protect my guys. But, you play with some stuff, not competitively, just in bullpens and stuff.
Just to play around,
just having some fun, seeing what things do. And I think that's basically during this spin rate era, a lot of people have done that. So it's nothing to look down upon. You're just you're seeing where he can get a competitive advantage. Obviously, these hitters are really good. But I think the Spider Tack specifically has really
crosses the line. Like there's a line. You got to draw the line somewhere. And that's yeah.
And Garrett Cole's comments even said, there's stuff being passed down generationally, which is true. Yeah, that is true. But that is the sunscreen and rosin. That's the bullfrog and rosin.
It's a pretty weak answer. It was a pretty weak answer. Like
that, that's for grip. You have to understand that's for grip. That's I'm gonna throw this 98.
Yeah.
That's for grip. It's gonna make it stickier.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
But like the Spider Tack you can literally see like you can hold the ball like this in your hand.
You can
the
hold
ball
it.
will be stuck.
I saw a picture on Twitter today. This guy was using Spider Tack. He was holding a baseball with one finger with Spider Tack on it. Like that's how sticky that stuff is. Like and the MLB finally is cracking down on it. Like you mentioned, Trevor Bauer has been screaming this for the last 2-3 years that, Spider Tack is a problem. Rob Manfred chose not to do anything about it. Like you said, he went out and created his own substance, and there you go. His RPMs went up, I think, like 400 in one off season, I think. Or 3.
Yeah, I mean, there's no proof that he's using Spider Tack, but I'm sure that's what he is using.
Right.
Yeah.
So the MLB is finally cracking down on it. Starting June 21st, they're suspending pitchers who use this any illegal
They've
stuff.
been taking data. They've been taking stuff.
Like
And
they're
I'm
taking
not sure if the
baseballs.
suspensions are going to come out the 21st or if they're going to start suspending on the 21st. That's kind of been like in translation. But they know who's been using and who hasn't at this point. Like they know.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to know. And now we're going to find out what happens when you don't use anything.
We're getting clean baseballs now. Like there's no, the MLB said there's nothing. Like you can't even use sunscreen and rosin for a grip on the baseball.
But you can use rosin. No, I don't know if pine tar.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going to let pine tar slide or not.
I don't know. I think I just read on Twitter that they're not allowing any foreign substance other than the rosin bag. So
I think
what's your thoughts on that?
Allow them to use pine tar.
Pine
tar has to be used
for grip, strictly for grip.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, because everybody's throwing 100. You mean you don't want to have players getting hit and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, pine tar. Honestly, it doesn't really give you it doesn't give you any advantage really. I mean, other than grip, it's not giving you a boost in your performance. And like you said, we had our steroid era. This is basically the steroid era of pitchers.
It is 100%. Like this is cheating. Like this is like when you're using a substance to give you a competitive edge, like you mentioned, over hitters. Like hitting is already hard as is. You got what 0.8% or 0.8 seconds to decide if you want to swing a ball. Now you're getting a fastball that's just spinning like batters haven't seen before. Like I don't know. This kind of stuff. Do you feel like the MLB decided to crack down on it when Josh Donaldson kind of put it on notice, or do you think this was in their minds already?
I think that this has nothing to do with the competitive advantage, and it has to do with creating more runs for the game and making the game more easier to watch. Less strikeouts,
because what do you want to
play more.
You go to a game, you don't. Well, maybe you go to see the strikeouts, but 9 times out of 10, you want to see Mike Trout or Ohtani or Tatis or Guerrero Jr. hit a bomb. That's what you want to see. Yeah. You don't go to see 12 strikeout game by Garrett Cole. I mean, that's cool, but like you want to see the offense, and I think that's what the MLB wants too. I think I'm with you there.
Yeah, so I think I don't think it has anything to do with the competitive advantage. I think this whole year they've been trying to push how do we get more offense in baseball. Okay, one, they had juice balls the last 3 years. We already know that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
They took away the juice balls. Now they're taking away the foreign substance. So they're meeting in the middle. For pitchers, hey, we're going to take away these juice balls, but we're going to take away your advantage too.
Yep.
Okay, so now we're back in the middle. We're back to clean baseball. We'll see. And we're going to see how the numbers change and how the game changes. I think you said that the batting average across the league has already jumped like 14 points.
It's up 14 points. Yeah. Since they announced the 10-game suspensions are coming, pitchers obviously stopped using it. The batting average went up 14 points. So,
yeah. So it's interesting. I will be very. I don't think MLB wants to suspend anybody. So I would be very shocked if we get a big name player getting suspended.
So this is.
But what I will say, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not going to use it the whole year. My team makes the playoffs. It's Game 7 of the World Series. I'm using Spider-Tack.
Okay. Here.
What? I'm going to get a 10-game suspension next year? Okay, I missed my first 2 starts of the season, but I won a World Series? What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm with you. Here, I'll play devil's advocate here. So basically what the MLB has instructed umpires to do is check every single glove of every single pitcher that comes into the game. The MLB has wanted to pick up pace of play for quite some time now. Doing this is going to slow down the game a lot, but I mean, if you're going to enforce this rule, you got to have, like, these rules have been in place. The umpires just don't enforce it. Like there is rules for these illegal stuff. Like the umpires are just lazy when it comes to stuff. So
it's not lazy. It's not laziness. It's that it's accepted among the players.
Okay.
Like even though there's a rule around it,
right,
the players are okay with it. So the umpires are okay with it.
So you saw a couple weeks ago they took the hat of Giovanni Gallegos And then you saw the Cardinals manager go on that big rant and saw the Cardinals manager go on that big rant and said, this is not a can of worms the MLB wants to open, blah, blah, blah. Now it's open. Like it's out there. Like everybody knows about this stuff. So are umpires going to do that? Are they going to check the hats, the gloves? Like, what do you think is going to happen here?
Hopefully nothing. I think it's very bad for the game if people start getting suspended.
What happens if Garrett Cole gets suspended? Like, we're going to talk about the Yankees right away. Like, if Garrett Cole gets, like, Yankees are screwed.
Yeah.
Like, they
10
lose
games,
Cole,
2 starts, but there'll be 2 starts. I mean,
is it 10 days or 10 games? Well, I mean, yeah, I guess that's the same thing, I guess.
Yeah, 10 games for pitchers. I mean, it's going to hurt the relief pitchers more than it's going to hurt the starters.
because the relievers can go 4 days a week sometimes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens here if they do start cracking down on this like they say they are. Because, I mean, every game you watch, I mean, the camera does a close-up on those on the pitchers all the time. They're touching their glove, their hat, their hands, whatever, trying to get grip on it. But, yeah, the MLB finally is cracking down on this, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be testing all the baseballs too. So you're screwed either way. If you're a pitcher, you're screwed at this point. And, I think the pitchers probably feel like, dude, why do these hitters always get the advantage? That's because they want more offense. I mean, that's just the truth of things. But I'm definitely interested to see how these big contracts, are, hurt by this. Bauer, Cole. I know Scherzer's in his last year, but there was that report. If people don't know, an Angels clubhouse, the visiting clubhouse manager got fired. I want to say might have been 2020, might have been 2019.
Yeah, 2019.
Okay,
I think.
He came out yesterday. He threw everybody under the bus.
Scherzer.
He said Cole, Scherzer, and Verlander.
Yep.
I gave him basically. I didn't read the report, but
I don't think he said Spidey Tack. But I think it was something along those lines.
Yeah. He was making his own thing.
Yeah.
But he also said he gave it to Angels pitchers as well. So, but when you're giving it to top aces
top arms to beat you, basically?
To beat your team that you're working for, that.
Like, what are we doing here?
I was trying to make that money. Trying to make that clubhouse money.
Before the podcast, before we started recording this, we got some breaking news. Bad breaking news too. Jeff Passan tweets: Tampa Bay Rays ace Tyler Glasnow has a partially torn unilateral collateral ligament and a flexor tendon strain. Can't talk right now. The plan for now is to try to rehab the injury and avoid Tommy John and eventually return, but it's a brutal blow for Glasnow, who's been phenomenal and the MLB best Rays. Like, this guy could be out for the year. This is not good.
Yeah. It's not good for the Rays, but you know what? Always next man up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they'll have some kid come up and just be unreal, and we'll just be like, we'll see Glasnow later, whatever. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but I mean, that's what the Rays do. I mean, they start off so crappy in April, which April starts. As long as you're around 500. You could always bounce back. Since then, what are they, 30-5 in the last 35 games? They're 43-24 this year.
And they just find a way, like pitching, bullpen, like is always lights out.
Go look at their roster.
You look at their bullpen.
I mean, they traded their starting shortstop.
Yeah, for 2 guys we haven't even heard of, and they're just shoving.
Yeah, and I get that. I can't say his name. It starts with the F, but he's
Fairbanks.
No, not Fairbanks. That new guy they got.
The guy they traded for.
He's going off right now in the pen. They're 24-10 on the road.
Yeah, it's the thing is, like, you look at their bullpen, and it's like, haven't heard of that guy. Oh, he's got like a 2 ERA though. It's like, what? Like, we're like, and the weird thing about the Rays is every single guy they bring in, it's like side armor, submarine. Like, it's just got so many different arm angles you got to worry about. And keep in mind, Nick Anderson has been hurt all year, and this guy's supposed to be back after the All-Star game. So they're getting a boost in their bullpen supposedly after the All-Star break with Nick Anderson coming back. But yeah, this Tyler Glasnow news is not good. Hopefully he doesn't need Tommy John, because that man is electric to watch when he's on the mound.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and he was really having an all-star season.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does suck. I mean, like I've said before on this podcast, injuries suck.
Yeah.
Part of the game. You kind of have to look at that team and be like, what's next? I mean, I'm a homer, obviously, so the Angels dealt with tons of injuries.
Yeah.
And they've battled back. So we'll see what Tampa Bay does. The Yankees have dealt with some injuries. We'll get into the wild card. You want to talk about that right now, and then
we can hop into that. Yeah.
So let's look at the AL overview.
Yeah.
Okay, we got Tampa 43-24, White Sox 41-25, and Oakland 41-27.
Yeah.
Those are the top three. They are in the playoffs as we stand. About 60, 70 games in. So we're about a little less than half of the season done. And then you got Boston as the top wild card at 40-27, and Houston 37-28 in the second wild card. Currently, you have Cleveland a game behind the wild card, Toronto 3.5, Yankees 4, and the Angels 4.5. If you want to toss Seattle in there, they are 33-35, and they're 5.5 games back. All the teams I said before that are 500 or above.
Yeah.
What are your takes on who's the final two teams in that wild card you're saying today?
You're asking me to predict the wild card?
Yeah. Well, do you see anybody taking over a division? Like, White Sox are done. Oakland, it's hard to say. I mean, Oakland is doing good right now.
Oakland, how many? Let me look at my phone here. So Houston's 2.5 back.
Let's go to the division here.
Yeah, they're 2.5 back.
Yeah. Angels play them the next two games. If they were to win the next two, they'd be 5 games.
Unless the Jays do something drastic, which I think they will. I don't see them catching Tampa for the division.
And they suck against Tampa, right? They really struggle against them.
Yeah, it's like they actually hold their own against Tampa. They're just bullpen just sucks. Their bullpen is a disaster. Like,
yeah,
we're not going to get into that because we can do a whole podcast on the Blue Jays bullpen. It's dog shit. Let's see. So the wild card, like what is your thoughts on Houston? You watch the AL West like lots. Like that's like you grew up watching that division. Like what is your thoughts on Houston this year? Like do you think they're going to hold on to this lead here?
They have been doing pretty well lately. I mean, obviously let's see if I can go to Houston. I think
they're
that they
a lot of runs.
As long as their pitching stays healthy and they don't get a loss of either Correa, Bregman, Altuve, I think that they're going to be in it to the last month. I don't see why they wouldn't. They've actually they've impressed me, I would say. Let's see. I'm trying to look at their schedule lately. Okay, they just played in the last 3 weeks. They've played the Dodgers, Padres, Red Sox, Toronto, Red Sox, and then this past weekend, Minnesota.
Yeah, pretty tough schedule.
They split against the Dodgers, split against the Padres, beat the Red Sox, beat the Jays, beat the Red Sox, beat the Twins. So they've won 4 series in a row. They started a series with Texas tonight. It's only a 2-gamer, and then they go. They play 4 against the White Sox at home. And after that, it's not looking any prettier for anybody else in the AL West. They get Baltimore, Detroit, 7 games. Then Baltimore, so 10 games in a row of Baltimore, Detroit, Baltimore.
Yeah.
And then Cleveland. And then Oakland, and then the Yankees in the All-Star game. So in the next couple of weeks, they have to get through a series. All I'm going to say is they basically just have to get through a series with the White Sox this weekend. And then right before the All-Star break. They're going to be in a very good position as long as they take care of what they need to.
And I don't see Cleveland hanging on. I'm fascinated how they're even in this position that they are because
Pitching.
and Bieber just went on the IL too, so that's
They have one of the worst offenses in the league.
Yeah, and they're
But look at Cleveland. I mean, they get to play this week. They're playing Baltimore and Pittsburgh.
Yeah. And that's right. That's where I was leading here. The Blue Jays have had a pretty tough schedule to start the year. They have yet to play Baltimore. They play Baltimore 19 times from I think next week on. They play a lot of Baltimore,
Yeah,
a lot of Detroit, a lot of Seattle. So they're gonna have to take advantage of those games. Like those are like must-win games. I mean, if you go say 500 against the Sox, maybe win the season series against the Yankees and take care of Baltimore, you're going to put yourself in a good position to make the playoffs. So,
yeah, and I'm looking across, Cleveland has the easiest route just due to who they have to play.
Exactly.
Kansas City, Detroit, Minnesota.
And 19 times a year.
Yeah, so Cleveland's got the easiest route. Toronto, after, these tough series, once they get through them, they have an easier route. Yeah. The Yankees have an uphill battle for me. They are 33 and 32, but they've been banged. They haven't been winning. They're 3 and 7 in their last 10. I'm looking at the roster. Is it really a playoff roster? In my opinion, it's not.
Unless this team goes out and gets like I don't even know if this guy'd help a lot. Like Joey Gallo or like obviously like if they trade for a Max Scherzer type or
and we're talking.
Now we're talking. But right now, I mean, outside of Garrett Cole, they just lost Corey Kluber for 2 months. Like this pitching staff is garbage. Like it is bad.
The Angels just finishing up. They're 33 and 33. Like I said, they have 2 with Oakland tonight.
Yeah,
4 against Detroit to finish out the week. So I'm expecting.
They got 2 tonight. They play doubleheader.
No, sorry, they have 2 the next 2 days.
Gotcha.
And then 4 with Detroit coming up. So if I had to guess, we're probably looking at if they're not taking the next 2 against.
Well, you got to sweep Detroit.
Yeah, I think they'll have at least 36 wins by the end of the week. 3 games, 3 of the next 5.
Yeah, and I mean 2 weeks ago, if you asked me, I mean when Trout went down, the Angels was going to climb back in. I said no shot, but here they are. They're 9-2 in the month, or 9-3 now. 9-3 in the month of June.
Yeah,
like
they've won 13 of their last 18.
Yeah, they've
14
really
of the last 19, something like that.
They've kind of dragged themselves in the fight. Obviously, you said Rendon went down with injury, but they're getting some production from some. Well, Justin Upton's not an unlikely hero, but Max Stassi sure is. Named Player of the Week, AL Player of the Week. But they put Upton in that leadoff hole, and he's hitting a lot of home runs.
Yeah, he's batting over 300 too in that leadoff hole. He's batting 333, which is, if you would have ever guessed Justin Upton in the average 333 next to his name in the last 3 years, I would call you crazy. But he's getting it done. He's having good ABs. He's a different guy in that leadoff hole. I don't know why, but he is. And he's doing well. And the Angels needed him to step up. They needed a lot of guys to step up. Jared Walsh has stepped up. Stassi stepped up. Iglesias swinging the bat better. Fletcher started. He went 4 for 5 last night. He's starting to swing the bat well. The lineup's hot. It's the offense. And on top of that, their pitching staff outside of Bundy last night, they've been winning lots of games. They had in the last 15, they had 8 quality starts, and they were 9-4, the starting staff. So they actually were getting pitching for once, and they've actually been winning games.
Let's talk about Dylan Bundy, because last year he had a really good season, right? And kind of had a rebirth of his career, right? He had a couple tough years in Baltimore. He went over to the Angels and shoved last year. This year, you said, you gave me a text last night. You said, I hate to say it, but I think it might be time to DFA Bundy. Like, what's going on with him this year?
I think he's just catching too much middle, and his velocity's been a little down. Last night, his season average was 91. Last year, we were seeing him touch 92, 93 pretty consistently.
Yeah.
Last night was 89 was his average velo. And on top of that, he's just missing middle. He's not missing barrels like he was last year. Last year, he was a big changeup guy. He can ride it off, and right now they're just catching middle, and balls are going over the fence, and trouble's happening. There's also some bad luck in there. There's been a lot of soft contact too. So it's just a combination of both. It's just probably one of the most unlucky pitchers in the league. And yeah, I mean, he's 1-7 with a 6 ERA. He went from the Angels' best starter to their worst. So yeah, I mean, Ohtani's holding it down at the top, and then you got Patrick Sandoval who's came up and been electric. Canning's been up and down. Yeah. He'll have his great starts. He'll have his not so good ones. Cobb's actually been surprisingly decent. And Quintana, outside of April, his May was a lot better. So yeah, I mean, it's a tough sell to me to get rid of him, but I don't think you can keep running him out there either.
Yeah,
especially with a trade deadline coming up. I mean, if you just have to trade him for like a piece, just like a depth piece, you do it.
You mentioned Jared Walsh could be having a good season. He could be a potential all-star this year. We're gonna go over our AL all-star starters. I'm gonna go catcher to starting pitcher, including a DH. I'll give my team, and then you can give your team.
Yep.
Starting at catcher, I got Salvador Perez. This guy has just been unbelievable this year. I was looking at voting, and second voting is Yasmani Grandal. That's a joke. Like, he's been awful this year. First base, I obviously got Vlad Jr. This guy is one of the best hitters on the planet right now. Second base, I got Marcus Semien. He's been all you can imagine and more. Like, when the Jays signed him, you weren't sure if you were going to get that 2019 third in AL MVP Semien, but I mean, so far so good for that. Shortstop, I got Bogarts. That's just a no-brainer for me. He's been really good at short. Third base, I don't know. I was like torn on this. I was gonna go Yoel Moncada at third, but I went with Devers because overall body of work. Two different players though. Moncada's more of an on-base guy. Devers is obviously hits the home run and stuff. Left, like, the outfield I struggle with a little bit. Like, left field, I went with Adolis Garcia. I think he deserves to get some recognition, get himself an all-star berth. Center field, I got Mike Trout. I mean, I don't think it'd be smart for him to play in the all-star game, especially with how much time he's missed. Replacement for him, maybe not the sexiest guy. Like, Cedric Mullins has had a really good season. Like, I could maybe see him taking Trout's spot possibly. Right field, I got Aaron Judge. DH, I got JD Martinez, and then starting pitcher, I got Shohei Ohtani.
Starting pitcher, Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
No shot he starts the all-star game.
Why not?
Why would they do that?
Why not?
He's a DH, bro.
Okay, but you think you don't? Maybe he does both.
Yeah, you DH him first.
I just feel like it's one or the other.
No. I mean, he's gonna go as a DH. I mean, that's how he'll be voted in.
Right.
I think he'll still maybe pitch during the game, and they'll have to manipulate the rules to make that happen.
Yeah.
Because you're not gonna lose the DH and do all that stuff. But going into my team, it's basically the same as yours: Vlad, Semien, Bogarts, Garcia, Judge, Mullins, Salvador Perez. My DH is Shohei Ohtani. The only difference that I have is Alex Bregman at third base. I haven't heard anything about Alex Bregman all year.
I know.
And I went and dove deep into his stats, and he is probably the reason why the Astros are having so much success.
He's having a good year.
I have not seen one highlight of Alex Bregman. I haven't seen one interview. I haven't seen. I don't even know this guy was playing until I looked at his
The only
stats.
highlight you saw was when he was at Fenway. And
Yeah.
he went to go get a picture with the kid. This Red Sox fan was like, "No, get out of here, cheater! I don't want a picture with you." That was pretty funny. But
I mean, we're pretty much on the same page. I have Mullins in there. Obviously, I did not put Trout in there just because I don't think he'll be playing in the game.
Voted in.
No, he'll get voted. He'll be
I don't think
number
he's
one
gonna go.
vote.
Right.
And he deserved it. I mean, he's batting like 330 before he got hurt. With 1,000 OPS. I mean, it's not like he wasn't going to continue to tear up the league. He'll be an all-star, but I'm not going to put him in there as my starting lineup.
Let's play a little game on the side here. 5 players for the home run derby in the AL. Who do you got?
Vlad, Ohtani, Judge. That'd be a good one. Need a lefty bat here. It's in Colorado.
Okay.
Gallo,
dude. Vlad hit 92 homers at Cleveland's ballpark, Progressive Field. How many bombs did he hit in Coors?
I think he's got to do it again.
I
want to see Ohtani versus Vlad in the home run derby.
Same. I mean, last year we got the Vlad versus Jock, and that was like crazy. But
Ohtani versus Vlad,
it would be good. That would be like must-watch TV right there. Like
that's like you have to watch the home run derby.
Like 2 guys that hit tape measure shots. Like Vlad, last 4 games in Boston, he hit 2 homers, like 466. Like this guy just kills the baseball. And then what was it? Ohtani hit that one to dead center, like 470. Like this guy, like the way that he swings the bat, like he he's just so strong, man. These 2 players are just built different. Like, I don't know, man. Like they're just.
It would be fun in the National League.
Gifted.
What do you got in the National League home run derby?
National League.
I could see Jock doing it again.
Acuna,
Tatis. If you toss Tatis in there, I mean, you get Tatis, Vlad, and Ohtani in the home run derby. Everybody's watching.
Oh yeah, I'm glued to the TV if that's the case. Acuna might be there. Max Muncy, he could be there.
Jesse Winker, maybe.
Yeah.
Nick Castellanos. Bryce. Is Bryce gonna go do it again?
Yeah. Next week we'll give our NL All-Stars starters.
Yep.
You got to, let's go back.
Let's go back to the AL.
You got some reserves?
I don't want to talk about that right now.
Okay, what do you want to talk about?
I haven't dug deep enough into it.
Okay.
But I do want to go back to the AL before we jump into the NL quickly. Like I said, we got Kansas City, Detroit, Minnesota, Texas, and Baltimore at the bottom.
Yeah.
In your thought, in your mind, who is the trade piece? Who's the trade piece? Maybe 2-3 guys that you want to see get traded?
In the AL?
Well, we're talking bottom half. Because we're going to say that the Angels, and I guess we're throwing Seattle because it's 5.5. 5.5 isn't out of it.
Okay,
to me, Kansas City 7, it's a stretch.
Okay, so Texas, you got Kyle Gibson, you got Joey Gallo, Minnesota.
Nelson Cruz getting traded?
Yeah, he's probably gone. Okay, would you trade Byron Buxton?
No.
Okay, I wouldn't either. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. Barrios.
Matt Boyd got hurt last night, but he was a big piece for the Detroit.
Yeah. Detroit, Miggy, nobody.
Kansas City, maybe Carlos Santana.
Did he sign a 1-year deal or a 2-year deal?
I believe it's 1-year deal.
1-year deal. 1 year, $18 million, I think.
Mike Minor, maybe.
Yeah.
Danny Duffy, he got hurt though.
Benintendi?
Nah, Benintendi won't get moved.
You don't think?
Not again. No.
Okay. Baltimore, like I wouldn't trade Mancini personally. Let's see who's on Baltimore that could get traded.
Maybe some relievers.
Can you think of it? I don't know.
Nobody really. But
nobody notable.
Who's your one? Who's your one guy? Hey, let's play some one guy Jays can get off those 5 teams. Kansas City, Detroit, Minnesota, Texas, Baltimore. Who is it?
It'd be Barrios. I think
Barrios for you.
I think if the Jays dealt for Barrios and maybe
You only get to pick one. You only get to pick
Yeah,
one.
I know.
Don't add. Don't add. You only get
I
to
don't
pick
know,
one.
man. Like they need starter. Like I could use a starter, but they need pen pieces too.
You guys will end up with J Happ.
Yeah, I'm getting off the pod. We're wrapping enough here. This isn't 2016, man. Yeah, I'd probably say Barrios though. I'd probably say
Okay.
Barrios.
Yeah, fair enough.
All
Alrighty, well, let's move into the National League. Let's look at this real quickly. Quickly, we'll get into more. We'll talk about the
next
National League
couple
more
weeks,
next
we're gonna
week.
go buyers and sellers and
Yeah.
predictions and stuff. Yeah.
Let's just give an overview. Obviously, this is a pretty American League heavy podcast today.
Yeah.
Next week will be a little bit more National League heavy.
Yeah.
But let's just give an overview since we did for the AL. We got the Dodgers, Cubs, Milwaukee are tied for the Central. And then you have San Francisco in the West,
Yep.
Milwaukee and Chicago, and the Mets on top of the East. And the wild card, you have the Dodgers, and then the Cubs and Milwaukee are obviously tied for the Central.
Yeah.
San Diego's 38-30, a game back. Cincinnati's 33-31. They've been hot lately. Kind of them and the Angels have been on the same pace.
Yeah.
They're like nearing each other.
Cincinnati's 8-2 in their last 10.
Yeah. St. Louis 2-8 in their last 10. Now they're 5 games back of the wild card.
They
Don't
got
ever
swept.
count them out.
They just got swept by the Cubs this past weekend.
Yep. Phillies 32-32 are 5 games back, and we're gonna draw the line at Atlanta.
Yeah.
They are 6.5 back. They are 30-33. It's been a nightmare of a season for them.
Mm-hmm.
But this team was 1 win away from the World Series last year. We cannot count them out just yet.
And when Alex Anthopoulos was in Toronto, they got this great team in 2015, blah, blah, blah. They're underperforming. What does Alex Anthopoulos do? Trades for Tulowitzki, trades for David Price. Like, this guy has got nuts on him. Like, he is not afraid to go out and make splashes. So I'm not writing off Atlanta just yet because this team is too good to be this bad. Like, this offense is good. I mean, obviously they need to find a replacement. Well, they kind of already did. I mean, Austin Riley's been really good this year. Like, he's hitting like 320. Yep. He's kind of filling some production that they're missing with Ozuna. But I mean, you look at this, like, Atlanta's dug a pretty deep hole for themselves, though. Like 6.5 is quite a hole to dig yourself out of. Yeah,
I mean, bottom of the barrel. We by us saying they're in the bottom, we're basically saying this season, if you're watching now as a fan, you're watching for the upcoming guys, or you're watching to watch one player. Right. And we're gonna start there with Washington. Washington's 28-35. They have lots of pieces. They have obviously Scherzer. Maybe Corbin's on the block. He hasn't been great this year. Don't know if that's the right time to trade him. But
Trey Turner, do you move him?
I wouldn't. If I'm the Nationals, you build around Soto and Turner. But you have Schwarber out there you can trade.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't know. It's just they got to rebuild. They lost Harper. Obviously, then they went and won the World Series. They lost Rendon.
Yep.
Now they have Soto and Turner, which is a good building block. They just don't have anything around them. Plus injuries this year. Miami's 29-37.
One more thing on Washington. What do you do with Strasburg? Like,
you gotta keep him. He's locked. I mean, what are you gonna do? Nobody's gonna take him.
You don't think so?
He's been banged up his whole career.
Yeah.
They gave him $100+ million. I mean,
yeah, they're probably stuck with him. You're right.
Yeah. Miami's 29-37. This was a team that is actually pretty exciting. If you watch them, they're not bad.
Yeah, Jazz Chisholm's been really good.
The wins and loss columns are one thing, and that's for every team. There's teams like this where you can watch them. They're watchable.
Yeah.
And Miami, surprisingly, is one of them. Colorado is not. They're 26-41.
We've been beating up on Colorado a lot this year.
Pittsburgh's 23-42, and the Arizona Diamondbacks somehow are worse than Miami or worse than Colorado. They are 20-47 with a 299 win percent.
They have lost their last 11 games in a row.
They win 29% of the time.
Dude.
And they lost.
Dude,
They're
you're a
5-30 in
major
their last
league
35.
team. You're a major league team. You're telling me you can't win like the odd game here or there? Like, dude.
Well, they went on 16 straight losses, and then they won a game,
On
and
the
now they're
road,
back to
right?
11. Oh, yeah, no, they've lost 19 in a row on the road.
Dude. Like, where's some pride here, man? Like, go, like.
They are not good. The Angels just played them,
Oh my god!
and the Diamondbacks were up 2 games, or like in 2
They
games.
tied
They were
in the
up.
ninth there against the Angels.
The Angels, yeah, they came back.
Yeah.
But they're really bad.
Dude, I feel like
really bad.
their AAA team might be better than this team. Like, dude, like this is
and there's not much to trade there. There's not. I mean,
you
there's
got
Ketel Marte,
Escobar.
Mad Bum's hurt.
Like,
so I don't know really what the direction is. I mean, obviously you're setting yourself up right now for a 1-1 pick.
Like
next year, but
like I love watching baseball, dude. Don't get me wrong, but like when I look, it's June 13th today. I look at the standings.
15th, yeah.
Baltimore's 20 back. Like, Minnesota's 15 back. Texas is 15 back. Colorado's 15 and a half. Arizona's 20. Like, we're 60 games in. There's like 6 teams that like their season's already over. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
Crazy, man. It's crazy.
But you need that. You need that. I guess in the league, teams are gonna do what they're gonna do.
You got to either spend or you're gonna suck. That's what baseball is. You got to spend
or develop. And that's
yeah.
what. Look at the teams that are sucking though. It's Texas.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't spent money since like 2013.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Baltimore, who
never spends
spends money but on the wrong guys. Trumbo, Chris Davis.
Yeah.
Okay. Alex Cobb.
Yeah.
Then you got Minnesota. Could say just a fluke season. Just things didn't go their way early.
Yeah.
Miami, rebuilding team. Not a lot of money. Pittsburgh obviously doesn't have any money.
No.
They got to rebuild it.
Yeah.
They haven't been good since 2012 when they had Andrew McCutchen.
Arizona has some money too. Like
Arizona doesn't have money. They spend money and they make these dumb contracts.
Yeah, mad bum. Like, that made no sense.
Greinke made no sense.
Yeah. Colorado.
They spend money, but it's like they're like to
Baltimore.
me. They always
spend
it on 5-year deals, and then the guys that sign there are traded by year 3.
Okay, like last year, who was it? It was Starlin Marte.
Yeah, traded for him, and he's gone.
He's gone. What are we doing here? Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm with you. I don't know Arizona's direction. Obviously, Colorado, that's like another thing in itself. That's a disaster right now. But, I mean, that being said, like, there's obviously teams out of it right now, but there's a lot of close races. Like the NL West is I think it's gonna be tight all year long. I don't think San Francisco holds on to that because like eventually they're gonna fall back down to earth. No.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think so, but you never know. The pitching is doing well. That's what's winning them games. Pitching wins games.
Yeah, like in the Central, 1-4 is separated by 5 games. Tie it at the top.
I think the AL West is top 3 is going to be good. Even the AL East, even though the Yankees are 9 games back, I think this is going to get interesting at some point.
Yeah, well, they're going to make moves. They're going to make moves. They always do.
White Sox, it's over. I'd be very shocked to see Cleveland pass the White Sox. The White Sox pitching matches up. That's the reason why I say that.
Yeah.
Then you have the NL East, which is just a complete dog crap division. I mean, the Mets, they've been playing better of late. They're 33-25.
Like Miami, Washington, dog shit.
And then Atlanta and Philly, I mean, haven't played the best. It's early. And then the Central, you got Cubs, Milwaukee, Cincinnati's in it now, and St. Louis. That's a good race.
Yep. Yeah.
And obviously, like you said, the West, we got Dodgers, San Diego, and San Francisco. It's making out to be probably the best race that we've seen. That's really interesting to watch. Really good games to watch, actually. But other than that, I got nothing for the final out other than see what the Halos can do. See what the Halos can do. See if they can get back in it.
George Springer is alive finally. He's on a rehab assignment today. He's playing 5 innings in the outfield. This man, he's been hurt all year long. Only played 4 games. Jays Yankees got a big series here, 3 games. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, let's check this out real quick. See who's playing today.
Yeah, we got
Angels Oakland.
Matchups?
Angels Oakland, Pittsburgh Washington. That's what nobody wants to watch that. Yankees Toronto, Baltimore Cleveland. Nobody wants to watch that. Cubs Mets.
Red Sox Braves might be pretty good.
Yeah, might be. Detroit Kansas City. Nobody wants that. But Casey Mize is on the mound.
White Sox Rays.
Yeah,
that'd
White
be
Sox won last night. Lance Lynn had a pretty electric outing.
Yep.
You got Houston and Texas, Cincinnati and Milwaukee. That's a good one to watch. Luis Castillo, who's having a terrible season, is on the mound. 2-9.
I was just gonna bring that up. If I was to tell you, if I was to put player A and player B next to each other, and Luis Castillo's player A, and this guy's 2-9 with the 6-year A, I would have never guessed that's Luis Castillo. This guy has a
things can turn around quickly though.
Yeah,
you just gotta let it play out. You got Taylor Rogers, who's been really good for Miami. 7-3 with a 2.02. Probably leader for Rookie of the Year this year in that now.
D-backs Giants, that should be a barn burner.
Yeah. Darvish is on the mound against Colorado. Philly and LA. I mean, that's kind of a good one to watch. The California opens the full capacity today, so you expect to see 40,000 in the seats there tonight.
You're going to the game on Thursday?
I'm going to the Angels Detroit game Thursday.
Ohtani on the mound, eh?
Yes, sir.
I will 100% say I am jealous because up in Canada, you can't go to shit around here. Borders closed. I'm hoping that it opens so I can come down to California in August, but see them Blue Jays whoop that butt of the Angels in August, so we'll see what happens there. But
anyways,
I don't know, man. I just want to see. I just want to go to a baseball game. Man. I'm getting that itch. I'm like, damn, I miss going to games. But yeah. I mean, you got anything to add other than the matchups?
Other than that, it's been a long one today.
Yeah.
We went further than what we thought we were going to.
We planned to go on at 12:30, but we had some technical difficulties. My computer wouldn't pick up Dylan's audio. I don't know what's going on. I had to restart my computer, and yeah, we got it working. But yeah, next couple weeks we'll dive into buyers and sellers, kind of maybe some predictions where players could go. Till then, just rate and subscribe us on YouTube, iTunes, and Spotify. Appreciate you guys for listening.
Yep. Take care, guys.